Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Houseplant Simulator mod, which is being made by user Zorkaz. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game are 3 wonderful new houseplants for you to add into your settlements. And you actually need to take care of these houseplants, which, I gotta admit, does sound like a strange thing to be adding into Fallout 4, and frankly, it is. But if you do take care of these plants, you not only get beautiful green things in your home, but also a buff that will make your character better out here in the Commonwealth, and who doesn't want that? So let's take a look at exactly what we do get here with the Houseplant Simulator. And here are our 3 lovely new houseplants. We've got a flower, a just generic houseplant, and another generic houseplant that's a fern. And they actually are pretty cool little plants. Just on their own, I actually wouldn't mind adding these into any of my player homes or settlements, just to add in a nice little pop of color and make it feel a bit more like a home. But, like I said, these will also give you a buff when you take care of them, though we'll get to that and how that all functions in a moment. Let's actually take a look at the plants themselves, and to get them, it's pretty simple. Once you do have the mod installed, you just need to go into the build mode, head on over to decoration, and then down to the miscellaneous category, and this is where you'll find all 3 of these inside of. And the first one being the flower, which for just a simple 2 steel and 1 fertilizer, you get yourself a nice flower to put on your table. Now, we then also have the generically named plant, which again just takes 2 steel and 1 fertilizer to create. And then finally, we have another generically named plant, which is a fern. And once more, and finally, 2 steel, 1 fertilizer to build these things. And yeah, you just place them around in the world like you would any other object in build mode, and you got yourself some cool little houseplants. Now, as for the actual taking care of them bit, if I actually get a bit closer to one of these, you can see we actually have an interaction option to water these flowers here. And the watering is what will give you the buff. Now, let's talk about the watering first before we talk about the buff. You will need water in your inventory for this to function, because, I mean, come on, how else are you going to water your plants if you don't have water in your inventory? Now, it will prioritize using dirty water first, but if you don't have any dirty water in your inventory, it will use any purified water that is there. And if you don't have either, well, it's not going to do a thing. But if we do head over to our flower here and hit water, there we go, dirty water removed, and we get the well-rested perk, and we feel inner peace. And I don't know why, but that little feel inner peace thing always makes me laugh whenever I see it, because yes, we have achieved inner peace by watering our houseplant. Magnificent. And yes, we do get the full-on well-rested perk just by taking care of our houseplant, and that's pretty darn neat. But that's not all you get. We also do get an additional 25 action points for our character. This one only has 100 action points normally, but after watering the plant, now we've got 125, which is pretty darn cool. And you'll keep both of these lovely things for 25 minutes. Once that timer runs up, it goes away, and you'll also need to water your plants again. Yeah, that's the timer for these houseplants. Every 25 real-world minutes, you will have to water these plants, and if you don't, they die. As you can see over here, where I have all 3 of them, we now have dead flowers, dead generic houseplant, and other dead generic houseplant. And you notice we actually do have a new interaction option here to replace, because yeah, these poor things haven't been watered in 27 minutes, and they have now died, so we are going to have to get them back to life. So if we go to hit the replace interaction, we get this new little UI, and we can replace the plant by using 1 piece of fertilizer to bring it back to life. We can also destroy this thing and just be done with it, or hit cancel, and that is that. But let's actually hit the replace one, and we will use that one piece of fertilizer, and boom, we now have a glorious green fern once more, which we can now get back to watering. Now, the destroy option on here is actually pretty important, because if you don't do this, oh boy, you get problems. I discovered this earlier when I was testing around with this thing, because if we actually do go back into the build mode, you can see that these dead plants we actually can't interact with at all here in build mode, and the alive plants we can store or scrap, but we cannot move. If you actually want to move these things properly, or just be done with them in total, you are going to have to let them die first, and then destroy them, because if not, the second state of their existence, i.e. the dead, won't go away. In fact, if I turn around, yep, they're back. This is where I was testing earlier. I had them all on a table here to take those videos that I had a minute ago when we were in the build mode, and yes, they were all lovely green plants, and then I scrapped them all. But their dead states still existed in the world. So now that time has gone by for them to die, it thinks the plant's still there, and so it pops the dead one back into existence. Now, as you can see, we can't go into replace them and just go ahead and destroy those things, so it's not the biggest deal ever. We can just go through these one after another and take care of them. But yeah, if you don't destroy them, once they do technically die, even if you've gotten rid of the green plant, they will return. They're basically zombie plants. So that is one slight oddity with this thing. But you know what? Overall, I actually really quite like it. It's just a weird little mod that gives us some nice houseplants that, when watered, give us a wonderful buff for us to use. And they just look nice. So if you would like to take a look at this mod for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do so you can get yourself some inner peace, you can have a look at the link in the description as per usual, but that's really all there is to go over with this thing. It's just a nice, neat little mod. But hopefully you have enjoyed this one today, and you do come back for the next with whatever mod we might be looking at the time. But until then, thank you for watching, folks, and as always, have a good one.